So, are you a single mom and you lost your job, you got fired, or you got laid off, whatever the circumstance, and you're lost, you don't know what to do, maybe it just happened, and you're trying to figure out how you're going to maintain your life and your lifestyle, how you're going to maintain taking care of your children. You have kids to feed that solely depend on you. You may even have a mortgage. How you're going to pay your utility bills. You're trying to figure out, and you're stressed out about how you're going to just maintain the basics of life. How you're going to maintain not even your lifestyle at this point, but how you're going to maintain the necessities. Well, I was there once. I had gotten fired, and although I was personally in the process of other things, I was not there yet. And today I'm going to give you practical advice on what I did and what you may be able to do depending on your situation or what obligations you have. So if that sounds like what you need to hear right now, then let's go ahead and get into it. What I'm going to go over in this video is what I did as far as mortgage, what I did as far as my utilities. I am going to touch on rent. I was not renting, but I'm a realtor, so there are some things that I'm aware of that I can go ahead and share with you guys. I'm going to share what I did as far as food. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to get real about what I did as far as a car, because I did have a car. Fortunately, I didn't have a car payment, but I did have car insurance that I still had to maintain. So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into what I did about daycare. I'm going to talk about what I did for money, what you can do for money, and also I'm going to touch a little bit about 2 paths that you can take now that this has already happened to you. You can also look at this as it happening for you, because that's what I did. So I'm going to get into that as well, because there are 2 different paths that, well, actually 3 different paths, but I'm going to go over 2, and then you'll kind of figure out the 3rd path as I go over the paths that you can go now that this has happened. But right now, I understand you're probably in survival mode. You need to figure out what you need to do right now to get through life, and that's what this video is going to help you do. So first, I'm going to talk about what I did as far as my mortgage, which is typically everybody's biggest bill. It's either that or rent. And so I'm going to cover mortgage first, and then I'm going to talk about what you can do about rent. As far as your mortgage is concerned, what I tell people all the time is you need to realize the bank does not want your house. They really don't want to foreclose on you. So if your income comes to a sudden halt, I'm talking like you done lost your job. Now I'm going to give you a few options. So let's talk about it. Is 3 different ways you can go. Say you lost your job and you don't have any income. I'm talking nothing, no child support, no nothing. Okay, like your job was your everything. In that instance, you're going to call your mortgage company, right? If you know that you're not going to have the money, you can't get a family member to help you, or you don't have any support, call your mortgage company and talk to them about a forbearance. Explain your situation. They can give you a forbearance for 6 to 12 months, right? So that, and then sometimes I believe it can even go to 18 months. However, that's like a revisit at 12 months. So hopefully you're out of the situation by then. So the first forbearance may be 6 months, right? And a forbearance is basically where they say, okay, you don't have to pay any more. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say that your credit is not going to be affected, because that would be a lie, and I would be lying. And so I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you. But if you can't pay, it's better for you to at least still have a roof over you and your children's head than to not have a house because you don't want to mess up your credit, which is going to happen anyway if you aren't able to pay. Okay, so we're trying to be proactive here. We aren't being reactive, and we aren't waiting until something like big happens and now you are in the same situation with messed up credit anyway. Okay, so at the end of the day, like, just be proactive. At least you'll have that gives you, say for example, they give you 6 months in the beginning. That gives you 6 months to figure the rest out. So you may have you're gonna still have your smaller bills, and like I said, I'm gonna get into that. But as far as your mortgage, that's your biggest bill. If you have that, call them, get a forbearance, and go from there. Now, if you do have some type of income, so let's say that you have child support, okay? Let's just say you have child support. Let's say you're getting, I mean, it doesn't matter what you're getting. So let me just go ahead and go on the, let's say you're getting, I don't care if it's $500 a month, like let's just $400, whatever, it doesn't matter. When you fill out, so what happens is your mortgage company will have you fill out some paperwork. So they'll either decide that, okay, you're not paying anything for the next 6 months, or based on your income, they'll say, okay, so for 6 to 12 months, or, you know, whatever they decide initially, based on what you tell them, what your situation is, what you're doing, if anything, right now, etc. They'll say, okay, you make $500 in child support, and yes, that is considered income. So you make $500 in child support. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make your mortgage $200 for the next 12 months, right? So if they say that to you, okay, now you have $300 to basically live off of, but at least the $200 is covering your mortgage, whereas before maybe it was $2,000. I don't know, but they look at your income and they give you that time. They take that's an agreement that you come up with. That's the payment that they, you know, agree upon. That's how that works, right? So that's going ahead and dealing with the mortgage company. But like I said, be proactive. Do not hide. Do not try to avoid them and all of that. It's just better to go ahead. I mean, not to say that they can put you out fast or anything like that, because that's one of the benefits of owning a home, and that's why I push it so hard. One of the benefits of owning a home is you can be put out of a rental a whole lot faster than it takes to get a whole foreclosure done. It's a whole process. It's a lot that a lot of banks don't want to have to deal with. They don't want to have to pay for your house once they put you out. They don't want to have to pay for it, you know, pay all those fees and everything else that led up to putting you out while you were in there. Like, they don't want to deal with it. So if they can work with you, they will. Don't hide. Talk to them. My next thing is, let's go ahead and talk about rent. So if you're renting, yes, you're at more of a disadvantage. I'm not gonna lie. However, there are rental assistance programs out there. Sometimes they're one-time payments. One time they might say, okay, you can come to me for once during the year. It may be and also, like, there are multiple programs like this. So you may be able to go to one and you can never go to them again. You may be able to go to another, and you know, you can go to them once a year for help if you know, get on the struggle bus at some other point. However, maybe you can buy yourself 3 months. There are also, like I said in one of my other videos, I'm not even sure if it was my I don't know if it was my last video, but a recent video I did, I talked about grants for single moms. I talked about, you know, grants for help with different things. So it's help out there. So as far as the rental assistance, just I would start with Googling rental assistance in whatever city you live in, followed by state, or, you know, wherever you are. So we're gonna go into the utilities. If, you know, of course, here it's called BGE. But I think that it's utilities are called different things in different places. But anyway, utilities, as far as your utilities, there are other ways to get assistance with that. So Salvation Army is one. And you're going to have to look at, like I said, you're going to have to look into your specific area. Google is your best friend. Utility assistance and if it's electric assistance and blah 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 blah. If it's water assistance in, you know, this place, it lets you know what your options are. Just Google, you know, and I'm talking, like, sometimes it's not on the first page. I'm not gonna lie to you. Y'all gonna have to do some research. You don't have nothing but time. Dig in, find the stuff that's available to you. And like I said, it's not always just one program that'll help you. It's not just one business that'll help you. It's not just one nonprofit that'll help you, because there are a lot of them. if you really dig deep. I was there. I had to do what I had to do. I had to figure it out. Okay, like I figured it out to the point where for a whole year I didn't have to pay it. I didn't have to pay a utility bill, and my lights never ever have been off. So you have to be resourceful. You have to get resourceful. Another thing, sometimes you even have to reach out to your congressman for help. And I mean, like, if you're dealing with programs that aren't being reasonable or aren't giving you the time, say you applied and they're like, okay, well, we need 60 days, and your utility company is like, well, I'm only giving you 30, or it's like, was lights out. Sometimes you have to fight back, and that can be a humbling experience, but you got to do what you got to do when it comes to you making sure your children have what they need, making sure you have what you need. You got to do what you got to do, okay? So that's just another little tip that I'm going to go ahead and add on. Another little nugget you could put in your pocket for if that's ever needed, or you need to go ahead and, fight back if a company that you're dealing with is being unreasonable. Next, I'm going to talk about food. So the way I grew up, I never knew about like food assistance. I didn't know about it. I had no idea what it was. I had never even heard of it. I didn't know anything because my mom never, she never was on it. So, when this happened, I needed to get hip to certain things, and this was one of them. So get your food assistance. Apply immediately, because even if they don't approve you for 45 days and you have to figure it out for the next 45 days, when they do approve you, they're going to give you that back pay for food from the day you applied. And then they do have things like emergency assistance and things like that. So utilize what is available to you and for you. Another thing you can do is, if you have children under 5, you can get WIC. Now it's nothing but like, bread, milk, eggs, stuff like that. But I hear a lot of people talking about eggs right now, so that may be something you want to jump on. But yeah, that's another assistance program that just gives you more food, more options, in hard times. Now, if you have a car, and whether you have a car payment, like I said, I didn't. But whether you have a car payment or you just have insurance and you need money to put gas in it, because if you have kids, a lot of times you need to get them around somehow. Even if you're in the house most of the time now for different things, like such as doctor's appointment, dentist appointment, things that they need for their health, whatever. So if you have a car, utilize it. If you need to, you may have to do, I'm going to get into like more like some of the gigs that are available, but sometimes you need to use your car to make money so that you can pay for that car, or at least stay above water. So having a car is an advantage, because there are things you can do with that car to make money in itself. Daycare. Now, when I was fired, just out of integrity, because I loved my son's daycare provider, and the agreement that I signed was 2-week notice. I signed that agreement. I stuck by it. So the day that I was fired, when I had that conversation with her, but that last check, I paid her 2 weeks. I gave her 2 weeks notice. I paid her 2 weeks, so there wasn't an issue. Also, you can also qualify for something called daycare vouchers. At the time, I was paying out of pocket, but you could get daycare vouchers. Now, of course, you're like, well, I don't have a job, so why would they give me daycare vouchers? Now, here's the thing. They'll give you daycare vouchers to find a job. They'll give you daycare vouchers while you're searching for work, right? So, and that's whatever that may be. They'll even give you daycare vouchers for volunteering. So, do what you gotta do in order to get the care you need, if you need care, in order to make money. Okay, so look into daycare vouchers. Also, I do know that, I'm not sure, but again, everywhere, but I do know that a lot of times they require you to put your child's other parent on child support in order to get daycare vouchers. But one of the things, because maybe that's the only support you have right now, maybe that's the only one paying to help you, and you don't feel like they need to be on it because they're helping you more than they probably would if they were on child support. And sometimes that is the case, right? So if that's the case, then you don't have to like officially take them down child support. Sometimes they're okay with you and that other parent just coming together and coming up with an amount. So I don't care if it's $20 or whatever y'all put in that agreement. It could be $50, whatever. Go get it notarized, take it to him. That's good enough. Whatever that agreement is, like y'all put on that paper, and whether he gives it to you or not, that's y'all business. But outside of that, like, that's enough. Then you could get your daycare vouchers. So that is a way for you to still get daycare vouchers while you're either finding a job or making money, whatever you need daycare for. Now I'm going to talk about what to do for money. So as far as gigs, we have Amazon Flex. As far as Amazon Flex, they may say, oh, you could do a 4-hour shift, right? But that shift only take you 2 hours, right? But you still get paid all the money long as you drop off all the packages. So at the end of the day, that's the gig you sign up for. You work when you want to, or when you're available, or when you have a sitter, or whatever your situation is now. Now I'm not sure if you're supposed to, but a lot of people do to have their kids with them. And hey, if push come to shove, you put, as long as you got enough room to put those packages in your car or your truck or whatever you have, and put them on the doorsteps, whatever. You're just literally leaving the package. You're just literally putting the package down, taking a picture, and leaving. Another gig is, I'm sure everybody heard of this one, but it's Instacart. You can do that one. That one is a little bit more strenuous, a little bit more work. And again, I've seen people with their kids with that, and I know for sure Instacart doesn't want that. But yeah, is that they also have something called Spark. Spark is for Walmart. They also have something called Shipt. And Shipt doesn't pay as much as some of the other ones I'm mentioning, but if you have, of course you would need a sitter for this, but like I said, you could do Uber, you could do Lyft. Those are some of the options that you do have just to make money in the interim. And also, by you being a single mom, you probably get something back. So if this is around the time that you got let go, you do have an advantage because it's tax time, unless you were making so much that you don't get that and you don't have a business to write that off, then that may not be an option for you. However, if you do get a tax return and you got laid off around tax time, then that could be a blessing in itself, because at least you have that. It may not last forever, of course. However, it can help. Now I'm going to go over your next steps. And like I said in the beginning of the video, there are 2 paths you can take with this. And I actually said it's 3. But let's go over the 2 main paths. The first path is you can start looking for another job. You can start doing this immediately. However, for me personally, that wasn't an option. It's not something I wanted to do anyway. I was actually in the process of doing the second path when I got fired, so it was just a little bit of fire under my rear, honestly, when I did get fired. So of course, the first path is for you to just go ahead and find another job, start putting in applications like crazy until you get hired again. Now this is the thing, who's to say, number one, when you'll get hired, or whatever industry you work in, who's to say that that it isn't an industry right now that are doing a lot of layoffs, so they aren't even doing a lot of hiring. And with everything going on right now in the world, we all know what that is. It's just, even and I wasn't even in this specific environment, or this stuff, what's going on now right now wasn't going on when I got fired. So right now I can only imagine it's probably harder. So for me, honestly, I just personally never wanted to put that kind of power in somebody else's hands again. Never again. I told myself never. I told myself I would never put that kind of power in somebody else's hands again. That's my livelihood. That's my kids' livelihood. Because if you decide one day you just don't want me to work there, or you decide one day, oh, you know what, I think I want to make some pay cuts, and I just feel like, K should be one of those cuts. Then all of a sudden then I don't have any income to take care of my kids. Suddenly we had when we had plans, we had, I'm thinking everything's good. Holidays might be coming up, birthdays might be coming up, I might have a vacation coming up that I thought I was gonna be good for, and now all of a sudden I'm cut off, and it was money you're dependent on. I just don't like, and I was never comfortable with somebody having that kind of power over me. I just from that experience, it just taught me, like, okay, if you do have a job, or if I chose to get a job, it was just extra income. It was just, okay, another paycheck, cool. But if I lost it, it wouldn't make or break me. That was specifically how I operated. I still operate like that to this day. But of course, that is an option if that's what you choose to do. And I understand everybody's not meant to do the second path, so I get it. It's just, I just don't like having that stress on me. I just don't like having that being able to be swept from under me or taken from me. I just don't like that. However, the second path is one that I teach a lot about, and that is entrepreneurship. That is taking your skills, or taking what you were doing at work, and whether that's personal skills or professional skills, whatever those skills are, whatever you're good at, your talents, etc., like whatever you're into, whatever interests you, your hobbies, and turning those into an income for yourself. And that's the path that I took, right? So, but like I said, you can take either path, and if you take the second path, I literally am in control of how much I make. If I don't work, then I don't make money, unless I do have a few things that make me money without me doing anything. I did something once and they're still making me money. However, let's just say, for the most part, especially starting out, if you don't work, you don't make money. The more you work, the more money you make. And then I'm now teaching single moms how to turn that into a salary for themselves, or to turn that into reoccurring revenue for themselves, whatever that may be. And I learned this by, my first business, I was a licensed childcare provider. That was it wasn't my first business, but it was my first service-based business as a single mom, I'll say that. And it checked all the boxes for me. But I often hear parents, even today, saying, well, when they have to still pay that daycare bill, right? Oh, I'm in the wrong business, because whether that daycare provider work or not, whether it's a holiday or not, whether they are closed or not, they're getting paid. But I teach service-based businesses how to apply that same system, that same strategy that I did for years to their service-based business. So if you're interested in it, then I do have some free things below. Right now it's just a wait list, but I am in the process of doing and getting everything together so that I can launch my membership to teach you guys all of these things. However, for now, like I said, the links are below, anything that you might be interested in. And if you have any resources that I may not have mentioned, or that you may be able to help somebody else with in the comments, please leave them below. Share this with a single mom that may need it right now, that maybe just lost her job and doesn't know what to do. She could be completely lost and she needs to figure out how to get out of this rut. Share the video. And that's it for today. Love y'all.
I don't wanna break a heart that was never mine, and I don't wanna save someone from another life, and I don't wanna fake a love that was never right. Oh, I don't wanna break a heart that was never mine, a heart that was never mine.
Were you ever mine? Never mind. Heaven in your eyes, but I guess that's what makes the devil hard to recognize. Record time, how fast we reckon lives, till you got me second guessing. Now I'm recollecting on the better times. Too many nights you called thinking I'd pick it up.